The listening station hovered silently above the barren moon of Calisnine, its dark metal frame etched against the glittering backdrop of distant stars. Inside, Lieutenant Myra Voss adjusted the sensitivity on the signal scanner. The sector was quiet to quiet. For weeks, there had been nothing but the usual static and faint hums of passing trade ships and patrol vessels. The Galactic Concord considered this stretch of space a backwater, forgotten in the vastness. Myra sighed and rubbed her tired eyes. Another day, another ghost. She glanced at her crewmates, scattered across the dimly lit command room, their faces glowing from holodisplays. The hum of machinery was a comforting monotone, broken only by the occasional beep from the comm arrays. Suddenly, the signal monitors flickered violently. "Lieutenant, you're going to want to see this," shouted Jarek, the station's communications. "Officer." He pointed at the main console, where an unfamiliar pattern was blinking furiously. Mira's fingers danced across the console, zooming in on the source. The signal was coherent, precise, and unmistakably human. The room went silent. Not a single soul dared breathe. "Run it through the filters again," Mira ordered, voice steady despite the growing knot in her stomach. Jarek complied, eyes wide as the system decrypted the transmission in real time. The message was old ancient. Earth Standard English, unaltered by time or dialect. A voice, calm and authoritative, recited coordinates and a cryptic message. "This is Captain Raina Solis of the Terran Warship Leviathan. We are returning. Prepare for arrival." The lights in the command room flickered as an intense pulse of energy erupted outside. Everyone rushed to the observation window, jaws dropping, through a shimmering tear in the fabric of spacer rip pulsating with blue-ish white lighter. Colossal warship emerged. Its hull was sleek and angular, unlike any known design. It carried no flag but bore the unmistakable insignia of Earth, a rising phoenix engulfed in flames. "It can't be," whispered Jarek. Mira's heart pounded. The last known record of Earth was 2 centuries ago, before it vanished without a trace in a cosmic stormer. Disaster that had shattered the solar system and erased it from charts. "This is a mistake. We're being hacked," said the stations. Commander Veer, his voice tight with disbelief. But the warship didn't respond to any challenge. Instead, it moved with deliberate grace, positioning itself near the station. Alien scouts scrambled to launch fighters, but the warship's defense systems activated before they could reach Itan invisible field pulsed, disabling every hostile craft with a non-lethal electromagnetic pulse. Contact lost with all interception units, Jarek reported, voice strained. On the bridge of the Leviathan. Captain Raina Solis stood tall, eyes scanning the holographic displays. Her silver-blue uniform was immaculate, but beneath the calm exterior, she felt the heavy weight of centuries of expectation. "We're not here to provoke," she said, voice steady but resolute. "Open communication channels. Let them know. Humanity has returned." Back at the station, the communications console crackled as a voice answered in broken Terran. Dialect shock and disbelief woven into every word. "Identify yourselves. You cannot be Earthlings." Solace allowed a faint smile. "We are the survivors of Terra. We have returned from the edge of extinction to reclaim our place. We come in peace, but we will not be ignored." Myra's mind raced. Could this be real? The legends, the myths of Earth's destruction were all false. The implications were staggering. If humanity had survived and evolved in secret, Their technology must be far beyond anything the galaxy had seen. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. Sensors detected dozens of fast-approaching ship pirates, mercenaries, and alien scouts attracted by the anomaly. Prepare defenses. We can't let them take advantage of this confusion. Commander Via barked. Mira took a deep breath, fingers flying across the console as she activated the station's shields. The Leviathan moved smoothly between the incoming ships and the station, projecting an aura of authority. Do not fire unless fired upon, Solace ordered her crew. We must show them we are not their enemy, yet. A tense standoff unfolded as alien ships hesitated, then scrambled back at the first warning blasts from the warship's advanced weapons array. Commander Via turned to Myra, eyes filled with a mixture of fear and awe. This changes everything. We need to inform the Concorde immediately. Mira nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. I never thought I'd live to see this day. Outside, the warship's thrusters glowed softly as it settled into orbit around Kalos 9. The ancient enigma of Earth had returned not as a forgotten myth, but as a living testament to human resilience. As the stars twinkled indifferently in the void, the galaxy's future shifted irrevocably. Deep inside the massive hull of the Leviathan, the dim blue glow of cryogenic chambers flickered as systems hummed to life. Centuries of silence shattered by the pulse of reawakening technology. Rows of human bodies lay suspended in stasis soldiers. Scientists, diplomats, all heirs of a vanished Earth, preserved for a time when their species might reclaim the stars. Captain Raina Solis stood on the bridge, gazing out through the panoramic viewport at the swirling anomaly they had just emerged. From behind her, the ship's AI Aegis reported system statuses in a calm, steady voice. Life support at 100%. Cryosystems offline. Crew awakening protocols engaged. One by one, the crew's eyes fluttered open, faces pale but determined. For many, this was their first moment of consciousness in over 2 centuries. For all, it was the dawn of a mission heavier than any carried before. Status report. Solace ordered, voice carrying both authority and an undercurrent of hope. Lieutenant Corin, the ship's tactical officer, rose from his cryopod and snapped a salute. Ship systems operational, Captain. Weapons offline until clearance given. Sensors detect multiple unknown fleets converging in nearby sectors. Our signature has already caused galactic uproar. Solace nodded. We expected as much. The galaxy believes Earth destroyed. They think us ghosts. We must prove otherwise by strength and by will. In the engineering bay, Dr. Elora Thorne rubbed the sleep from her eyes as she activated the ship's core diagnostics. She was the lead scientist aboard, one of the minds behind humanity's evolution during their exile. Captain, she said, joining the bridge via hololink, the Leviathan's fusion core is stable. Our temporal drives function beyond their original design specifications. We can manipulate space-time with precision, a technology no other species has mastered. That's why the galaxy fears us, Solace replied grimly, and why some will want to destroy us before we can reclaim what is ours. The crew gathered in the ship's central command chamber as the AI displayed a 3D map of the galaxy. The Sol system blinked as a small red dot gone for centuries, now reappearing like a beacon. This is home, Solace said quietly. We lost it once, but we have survived. We adapted. The Leviathan is not just a warship, is the last hope for humanity's rebirth. A murmur ran through the crew, a mix of reverence and resolve. Suddenly, The communications console beeped. Urgently, Jarek's voice crackled over the intercom from the listening station. Captain, the Galactic Concord has sent an envoy fleet to intercept. They're requesting immediate dialogue. Solus's eyes narrowed. Prepare the bridge. For contact. Open channels but keep weapons on standby. We negotiate as equals, not supplicants. The channel opened to reveal a holographic figure, Admiral Krith of the Galactic Concord, his expression wary, bordering on hostile. Terran Warship Leviathan. Krith said, voice firm, your appearance is a shock to all civilized space. The Concord demands you explain yourselves. Why have you returned after centuries of silence? What is your intent? Solus stepped forward, her posture proud yet calm. Admiral Krith, the Terran people were never lost, they were trapped. Our ancestors foresaw the cosmic catastrophe that would obliterate Earth and created a temporal sanctuary. We have grown stronger, wiser, and more advanced. Our intent is clear, to reclaim our rightful place in the galaxy and to bring balance where chaos has taken root. Krith's brow furrowed. Balance or dominance? We seek peace, Solus replied, but peace built on strength and respect. We have no desire for conquest, but we will not be ignored or exploited again. The Admiral's face betrayed a flicker of doubt before he masked it with formality. We will report this to the High Council. But know this many see your return as a threat to galactic stability. The transmission ended. Silence filled the bridge. Lieutenant Corin broke it. They fear us. We need to demonstrate power without slaughter. Solus nodded. Prepare non-lethal drills. We show them what humanity is capable of. They will learn to respect us. Later, in the ship's training bay, the crew practiced maneuvers using advanced holographic simulations. Soldiers honed new tactics, integrating AI-guided precision strikes with adaptive shields and cloaking. Scientists refined energy weapons capable of selectively disabling systems without loss of life. Diplomats studied the fragile politics awaiting them outside, amid the drills. Solus visited the ship's memorial wall, a holographic monument bearing the names of those lost in Earth's disappearance. She touched the glowing name of her grandfather, one of the original pioneers of the Time Sanctuary. We owe them everything, she whispered. Their sacrifice is our burden and our strength. Back in the observation deck, the vastness of space spread before her. The rift that had brought them back pulsed faintly, a reminder that the universe held mysteries still to be unraveled. Aegis, Solus said softly, prepare to chart a course to the Sol system. It's time for Earth to come home. The AI's voice responded, course plotted, estimated arrival in 36 hours. As the Leviathan slipped through the stars, carrying the hopes of a lost species reborn, Captain Raina Solus knew the galaxy would never be the same. The Leviathan's sudden appearance rippled through the stars like a shockwave. News traveled faster than light via encrypted channels, and subspace relays. Earth was not dead. The supposedly extinct Terran species had returned, and with them came a warship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. In the sprawling capital of the Charon Dominion, a giant council chamber buzzed with frantic energy. The ruling caste, alien beings with 4 eyes and iridescent scales, paced as holographic star maps flickered above the dais. 2 centuries we believed Earth lost forever, hissed High Chancellor Syra, her voice sharp as claws, and now they show themselves in our border sector. An elder beside her, cloaked in ceremonial robes, tapped a glowing staff on the floor. This warship's power is unlike anything recorded. If the Terrans wish to fight, we must strike first. Hold, Syra commanded. We don't yet know their intent, but we cannot underestimate their strength. Across the galaxy, the Krell Union's military headquarters were in turmoil. Massive warships hummed in dry docks, ready for deployment. Prepare. The fleets for patrol, ordered Fleet Admiral Takar, his voice booming. This Leviathan cannot be allowed to disrupt our expansion plans. In quieter corners of the galaxy, pirates and mercenaries caught wind of the Terran Warship and scrambled to intercept it. Ancient rumors whispered of Terran technology, so advanced it could bend time and space. Many saw the Leviathan as a treasure trove ripe for plunder. Back aboard the Leviathan, Captain Raina Solis monitored the escalating alerts. The ship's sensors tracked dozens of vessels converging toward their position: diplomatic envoys, reconnaissance scouts, hostile patrols. The galaxy was waking up to humanity's return, and not everyone welcomed it. Lieutenant Corin leaned over the tactical console. Captain, incoming transmissions indicate hostile intent from Krell and several mercenary factions. They're attempting to coordinate strikes. Solis's jaw tightened. Defensive protocols to full readiness. But we engage only if attacked. We must avoid unnecessary conflict. Suddenly, the communications officer interrupted. Captain, an unidentified vessel has entered our sector without clearance, requesting immediate parley. Solis nodded. Open channel. The holographic figure of an alien diplomat shimmered into view, tall, slender, with crystalline skin that glowed faintly. I am Envoy Cariel of the Galactic Concord. The alien said, voice calm but wary. Your presence has destabilized the balance of power. Explain yourselves. Why return now, after centuries of silence? Solis met the envoy's gaze. Because we survived. Because we cannot let the past dictate our future. Humanity seeks not domination, but restoration. Cariel's eyes narrowed. Restoration comes at a price. Many empires have grown in your absence. Will you respect existing treaties, or will you claim what you see as yours by force? We ask only for justice, Solis replied. What was taken during Earth's absence must be returned. Colonies, technology, knowledge. We are prepared to negotiate, but not to be ignored. As the conversation ended, alerts blared again. Pirate fleets were converging rapidly. Corin activated the ship's defense matrix. Deploying drones to intercept, the Leviathan released swarms of sleek AI-controlled drones that moved like shadows among the stars. The pirate ships launched volleys of plasma bolts, but the drones dodged effortlessly, disabling weapons, systems and engines with precise electromagnetic pulses. From the observation deck, Myra Voss, the Concord's liaison officer, newly assigned to monitor the Leviathan, watched the display with awe. They don't destroy, she murmured to herself. They neutralize. The pirates' ships fell silent, drifting helplessly, their crews alive but stranded. Captain Solis addressed her crew. Show them what we are capable of: power without needless bloodshed. Meanwhile, in the galactic media, transmissions exploded with speculation and fear. News anchors debated humanity's sudden resurgence. Was this a warning, a threat, an opportunity? In a shadowy conference room, a secret council convened. Leaders from several alien empires whispered over datapads, plotting how to respond. We cannot allow humans to rewrite the rules, growled one diplomat. Their technology could erase entire fleets before we can react. But war with humanity risks mutual annihilation, another cautioned. They have waited too long to return weak. Back aboard the Leviathan, Captain Solis reviewed the intelligence. prepared diplomatic packets, she said quietly. We extend an offer. Join us, or stand aside. But know this: if provoked, humanity will defend itself without mercy. Lieutenant Corrin smirked. They underestimate us already. They'll learn. As the warship cruised steadily toward the coordinates of the re-emerging Sol system, the galaxy braced for upheaval. Old alliances would fracture. New powers would rise. And humanity, once written off as lost, was back, ready to claim its destiny among the stars. The grand hall of the Galactic Concord gleamed with cold efficiency spires of crystalline metal and holographic displays casting shifting lights on the assembled delegates. Representatives from dozens of starfaring civilizations filled the chamber, their varied forms and colors a testament to the galaxy's vast diversity. But beneath the surface, tensions simmered like a volatile star at the center. The High Council's ornate dais awaited the arrival of the Leviathan. For weeks, rumors had spread of humanity's return, but no one had dared to believe until the colossal Terran Warship appeared in orbit, silently asserting its presence. Suddenly, the chamber darkened. The massive viewport flickered, and a holographic projection of Captain Raina Solis materialized, her figure imposing. The emblem of the rising phoenix emblazoned across her immaculate uniform. Honored members of the Galactic Concord. Solis began, her voice calm but resolute. We are the survivors of Earth, the Terran people. For centuries, we endured exile, trapped in a temporal sanctuary, mastering technologies beyond your understanding. We have returned to reclaim what was stolen during our absence. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some leaned forward with curiosity. Others recoiled in fear. Solis continued, we do not seek war, but we will not tolerate theft and neglect. Colonies taken from us, resources plundered, knowledge erased, these must be restored. The council speaker, a towering figure with 6 eyes, interjected sharply. Captain Solis, many among us question your claims. What proof do you offer that you are entitled to these demands? What guarantees can you give that your return will not bring devastation? Solis's gaze hardened. Proof lies in our presence. The Leviathan alone is a testament to Terran resilience and guarantees. We offer technology to heal worlds, cure diseases, and restore failing ecosystems. But make no mistake, forced to defend ourselves, we will use our power to dismantle your fleets with surgical precision. A wave of uneasy silence swept the chamber. From the back, Ambassador Krith of the Galactic Concord rose. Captain, your warnings are noted. However, your tone borders on threat. We must find peaceful resolutions or risk a war none of us can afford. Solis replied, peace must be mutual, Ambassador. We extend our hand, accept it, or prepare for the consequences. Behind the scenes, covert operatives from rival factions circulated among delegates, whispering warnings, sowing seeds of distrust. Some feared Terran dominance. Others eyed their technologies greedily. Suddenly, a commotion erupted near the chamber's entrance. A blast rocked the hall as an assassination attempt on Captain Solis was thwarted by the Leviathans. Security drones, projecting from the ship's orbit, gasps echoed as a masked assailant was captured by the Council's security. The message was clear: some factions would not tolerate humanity's return peacefully. Solis's voice cut through the tension. Let this be a warning. Humanity is no longer vulnerable. We are prepared to protect ourselves and to punish those who seek to destroy our future. The council speaker composed himself. We will consider your demands and return with a formal response. But Captain, be advised, many will resist. As the projection faded, murmurs erupted into debate. Some factions openly supported the Terrans, hoping for alliance and technology transfer. Others plotted resistance, viewing the Leviathan as an invader. Meanwhile, aboard the Leviathan, Captain Solace gathered her senior officers. "We've made our stance clear," she said. "Now we wait and prepare. The galaxy is at a crossroads. Our return ignites hope for some and fear for others. We must be ready for whatever comes next." Lieutenant Corrin grinned. "Let them come. They'll see humanity fight smarter, not just harder." Dr. Alara Thorne added, "We also have secrets yet unrevealed technology and knowledge that could turn the tide." As political machinations swirled outside, the Leviathan stood as a beacon, humanity's last and greatest hope in a galaxy uncertain of its place. The black void of space stretched endlessly before the Leviathan as it cruised toward the Sol system. But the peace Captain Raina Solace sought was fragile, hanging by a thread. Alerts blared suddenly in the warship's command chamber. Tactical Officer Corrin's fingers danced across the console, eyes sharp as the incoming threat emerged from the darker fleet of sleek, black ships bearing the mark of the Krell Union, their jagged shapes cutting through the stars like predators. "They're here," Corrin said grimly. "The Krell have decided to test us." Solace's expression hardened. "Raise shields. Prepare countermeasures. We engage only if necessary, but be ready to fight." Across the bridge, soldiers and technicians moved with practiced precision. The Leviathan's advanced defensive systems hummed to life, a shimmering dome of energy expanding around the ship. The Krell fleet advanced in formation, their weapons locked and targeting systems trained on the warship. Suddenly, a volley of plasma bolts streaked through space, igniting the Leviathan's shields. The warship absorbed the impact, retaliating with focused pulses designed to disable rather than destroy. "Drones deployed," Corrin announced. Swarms of agile, AI-controlled drones darted from the Leviathan, weaving through the enemy formation. Like a living storm, the Krell ships fired again, but the drones intercepted, jamming targeting systems and neutralizing engines without loss of life. Still, the Krell were relentless, sending wave after wave of attacks. In the war room, Solace stood tall, maintained discipline, show them humanity's strength without cruelty. But the battle was far from one-sided. A hidden Krell warship broke formation, firing a massive ion cannon at the Leviathan's engine core. Alarms blared. "Divert power." "Two rear shields," Corrin shouted. The Leviathan shuddered, but held firm. "Identify that ship," Solace demanded. Sensors locked onto the Krell flagship, notorious for hit-and-run tactics and heavy weaponry. "Deploy interceptor squads," she ordered. In the upper decks, elite Terran pilots climbed into sleek fighters. They launched from the Leviathan's hangar bay, streaking toward the Krell ships with deadly precision. The dogfight was brutal, and swift laser beams lancing through the void, explosions painting the darkness with fire. But the Terran pilots, backed by the Leviathan's AI-guided drones, outmaneuvered the Krell with superior tactics. Back on the bridge, Solace watched the battle unfold on holographic displays. "Send diplomatic channels a message," she said. "Tell the Concord this assault is unauthorized and will not be tolerated. We come with demands, not to be hunted." Lieutenant Jarek transmitted the message as the battle raged. Suddenly, A new signal appeared, a distress call from a civilian. Convoy caught in the crossfire? Captain, the communications officer said urgently. A fleet of neutral traders is trapped near the conflict zone. They're requesting immediate evacuation. Without hesitation, Solace gave the order. Divert. Ships to assist. Protect the innocents. The Leviathan shifted tactics, weaving through the chaos to shield the convoy. Krell ships tried to intercept but faced fierce resistance. Amid the chaos, Mira Voss, now aboard as a liaison, coordinated evacuation efforts. Her voice steady despite the danger. "We're taking casualties," she reported. "But the convoy is intact." The Terran's efforts saved hundreds. The tide of the battle slowly turned. The Krell, frustrated by their failure to cripple the Leviathan or provoke a total war, began to retreat. As the enemy fleet withdrew, Solace addressed her. "Crew, we held the line today. But this is only the beginning. The galaxy fears a sand that fear will drive more to challenge humanity." Her voice was calm but charged with determination. "Prepare for the coming storm. Humanity will not back down. We fight for our future." Outside, the stars blinked coldly, witnesses to the fragile peace shattered by ambition, fear, and survival. The Leviathan glided onward, an iron phoenix rising from the ashes, carrying humanity's hope to reclaim its destiny among the stars. The distant stars outside the Leviathan's observation deck blurred into streaks as the warship cruised away from the battlefield. Inside, the air was thick with tension. Victory had been hard won, but the price weighed heavily on everyone, Captain. Raina Solace stood silently before the panoramic viewport, watching the receding remnants of the Krell fleet vanish into the void. Her jaw was set, eyes sharp, but beneath the surface was a storm of uncertainty. Lieutenant Corrin approached quietly, his usual swagger tempered by the gravity of recent events. "We held them off," Corrin said, "but they won't stop. Not now, not ever." Solace nodded slowly. "No, they fear what we represent, a force that won't be ignored." In the war room, Dr. Alara Thorne reviewed sensor logs and battle reports. The advanced defensive technologies had saved them, but the battle exposed vulnerabilities. "Our shields absorbed tremendous damage," Ilara said, "and our engines nearly failed when the Krell targeted them. We can improve, but they'll adapt as well." Across the ship, diplomatic officers prepared new communiques for the Galactic Concord. Mira Voss, still navigating. The Uneasy Alliance, as the Concord's liaison, met with Solace privately. "The Council is divided," Mira explained. "Some factions want war, others want peace. Your actions have proven humanity's strength, but also its unpredictability." Solace sighed. "Unpredictability is a weapon and a curse." Myra's gaze sharpened. "You must decide which it will be. The galaxy watches closely. Your next moves could forge alliances or ignite wars." Meanwhile, across the galactic web, the battle's aftermath rippled through media channels and covert networks. Propaganda and misinformation spread like wildfire. Some hailed humanity's return as a herald of hope and renewal. Others branded it a dire threat to the established order. In the shadowed halls of the Shiran Dominion, High Chancellor Syra convened a war council. Screens displayed images of the Leviathan and its crew, alongside intercepted communications. "We cannot allow the Terrans to destabilize our borders," Syra declared. "They strike swiftly and without mercy. Our spies report secret negotiations with other factions. We must act before they grow too powerful." Her advisors debated strategies, diplomatic pressure, sabotage, covert strikes, but none dared launch open war just yet. The galaxy balanced on a knife's edge. Back aboard the Leviathan, Captain Solace called a meeting with her senior staff. "We need allies," she said firmly. "Peace will require strength, but also trust. We must reach out beyond old grudges." Dr. Thorne nodded. "I've identified a few neutral systems open to dialogue. Their technology is advanced but independent. They could be valuable partners." Corin added, "But reaching out risks exposing us to betrayal." Solace smiled faintly. "Trust is a risk we must take. Isolation doomed our ancestors. Unity may save us." As diplomatic messages were dispatched, an unexpected transmission crackled through the ship's secure channels. A coded message from an unknown source. Solace frowned as she reviewed the encrypted data. "It's a warning," Corin translated after working the cipher. "Not all seek war, but shadows gather. Beware those who smile in peace." The message chilled the room. "We face enemies both seen and unseen." Solace said quietly, "The path ahead is perilous." That night, in the quiet of her quarters, Solace gazed at the stars again. The burden of command was heavier than ever. She thought of Earth, lost but not forgotten. Of the crew who had awakened from centuries of sleep to a hostile galaxy. Of the fragile hopes of peace amid rising war. Humanity's return had shattered illusions. Now, the question was, what would they build from the shards? Outside, the Leviathan continued its journey, a lone beacon navigating the shadows of diplomacy, war, and destiny. The Leviathan drifted silently through the uncharted sectors beyond the known borders of the Galactic Concord. The air on the ship was taut with tension, not just from external threats, but from the hidden battles waging within the shadows of politics and trust. Captain Raina Solace sat in the command chamber, reviewing intelligence reports from their covert operatives embedded in various alien factions. The encrypted messages told a disturbing tale. Factions within the Concord were plotting to undermine humanity's resurgence through sabotage, others through outright betrayal. Lieutenant Corin entered swiftly, a grim expression etched on his face. "Captain, intercepted communications indicate a coordinated plot to assassinate key Terran diplomats during the upcoming peace summit." Solace's eyes narrowed. "How deep does this go?" "Deeper than we feared. There are agents embedded in multiple factions, including within the Concord itself. We're not just fighting a battle for territory, but a war of shadows." From the far corner of the room, Dr. Alara Thorne looked up from her data terminal. "I've traced the origin of the sabotage to a shadow network known as the Valen, underground cabal that profits from chaos. They've manipulated tensions between empires for centuries." Solace stood abruptly. "Then it's time to cut the veil's strings." She summoned Mira Voss, the Concord liaison, for a private briefing. Mira arrived swiftly, her usual composure tempered by concern. "The veil's influence reaches far," Mira warned. "Many within the council fear them but lack proof. Publicly, they push for peace, but in secret, they fan the flames of war." Solace's resolve hardened. "We need allies who understand the Veil's tactics and are willing to act." Mira nodded. "I know a faction willing to meet in Secreta, group of former intelligence operatives exiled for opposing the Veil. They call themselves the Shadowborn." The meeting took place in a hidden station orbiting a barren moon, shrouded from official censors. Solace, Corin, and Mira approached cautiously, aware that any misstep could trigger disaster. The Shadowborn emerged from the shadows' cloaked figures, with piercing eyes and cybernetic implants. Their leader, a grizzled alien named Rilak, spoke in a low voice. "We've watched your arrival with interest. The Veil's stranglehold threatens all who seek peace. But our methods are unorthodox." Solace met his gaze. "We need to expose and dismantle the Veil before their plots destroy the fragile alliance." Relok smiled grimly. "We can help, but beware our enemies are ruthless. Trust is a scarce commodity." Back aboard the Leviathan, preparations for the upcoming Galactic Summit accelerated. The Council had reluctantly agreed to meet on neutral ground, signaling a tentative step toward peace or a trap as the summit drew near. Covert attacks escalated. Communications were hacked, supply lines disrupted, and whispers of betrayal poisoned the air. One night, Solace was awakened by an urgent Alatin assassination attempt on Myra. Voss had been foiled by the Leviathan's security teams. The message was clear. Enemies lurked within their own ranks. In a tense meeting with her senior officers, Solace outlined a risky plan. "We will use the summit to draw out the Veil's agents. We'll employ the Shadowborn to identify traitors and safeguard our delegates." Corin grinned. "A trap within a trap. I like it." The summit commenced in a massive orbital station, surrounded by diplomatic vessels from across the galaxy. The halls buzzed with negotiation, suspicion, and unspoken threats. Solace and Mira moved cautiously, aware that every word and gesture could be a trigger. Suddenly, a fire alarm blared. Smoke filled the corridors. Panic erupted. "Sabotage," Mira shouted. Security teams mobilized quickly, escorting delegates to safety in the chaos. Shadowborn operatives struck, capturing a key Veil agent attempting to flee. The agent, cornered and defiant, revealed plans for a coordinated strike to assassinate Terran leaders and blame it on rival factions, igniting a war that would engulf the galaxy. Solace's voice rang clear over the station's comms. "We will not be pawns in your game. The Veil's web is unraveling." With the plot exposed, the Galactic Council faced a crisis. Some members called for immediate arrests and harsh crackdowns. Others advocated for caution, fearing further unrest. In the aftermath, uneasy alliances formed. The Shadowborn's knowledge became invaluable, but trust was fragile back on the Leviathan. Solace prepared a message to the galaxy. Humanity returns, not to conquer, but to restore balance. We will face darkness and deception, but we will stand, united with allies who share our vision. As the stars flickered beyond the viewport, the web of deception tightened, but so did the bonds forged in defiance. Humanity's fight had entered a new phase, one where shadows threatened to consume, all but where light could still break through. The Galactic Summit chamber pulsed with uneasy energy, the air thick with anticipation and the weight of betrayal barely contained. Captain Rayna Solace stood at the center of it all, flanked by her most trusted officers and the enigmatic Shadowborn operatives. The web of deception had been torn open, but the final battle was far from over. Behind the gleaming walls of the summit station, the captured Veil agents were restrained, their sinister plots exposed for all to see, yet whispers of more conspirators, still lurking beneath the surface, cast a long shadow over the proceedings. "The Veil's influence runs deep," Solace declared to the assembled delegates, her voice firm but calm. "But humanity and those who stand with us will not be cowed by fear or treachery." Mira Voss stepped forward, representing the Galactic Concord. "This moment marks a turning point. We can no longer afford to be divided by suspicion and ambition. The future demands unity. From the back, a faction of hardened skeptics grumbled, but even they could not deny the power of the evidence and the Leviathan's overwhelming presence. Suddenly, the station shook violently. Alarms blared. Outside, sensors detected an approaching fleet larger, more aggressive than any before. "They're coming," Corin growled. "The Veil's final gambit." A massive armada of shadow-clad ships, masked by cloaking fields, surged toward the summit station, intent on annihilating. The gathering of peace and plunging the galaxy into war. Battle stations. Solace commanded, her voice cutting through the chaos. The Leviathan sprang into action, deploying defensive drones and activating its energy shields. The station's own defenses roared to life, laser turrets and missile batteries locking onto the incoming fleet. The battle was fierce and desperate. The Veil's forces fought with ruthless precision, aiming to destroy the summit and crush the fragile alliance before it could solidify. Inside the summit chamber, delegates scrambled for safety. Myra coordinated with the Shadowborn, who moved like shadows themselves, striking back against infiltrators and sabotage teams attempting to breach the station. On the bridge of the Leviathan, Solace remained a pillar of calm determination. "We hold the line," she said, "for Earth, for humanity, for peace." The warship unleashed torrents of plasma and focused ion beams, cutting through the enemy ships with deadly efficiency. The Leviathan's drones swarmed like a living storm, disabling weapons and engines, but the enemy's numbers were overwhelming. Amid the battle, Corin piloted a squadron of fighters on a daring assault, targeting the command ship of the Veils. Armada, his squadron wove through enemy fire, weaving brilliant maneuvers honed by years of training and instinct. They reached the flagship's bridge, breaching the hull with explosive charges. The command crew was swiftly incapacitated, and chaos erupted among the Veil forces. With the command disrupted, the enemy fleet faltered, their assault losing cohesion. The tide of battle shifted. Back on the station, the remaining conspirators were captured or fled into the void, their power broken as silence fell over the battlefield. The Leviathan and the summit station emerged, battered but unbroken. Solace addressed the surviving delegates, her voice carrying hope and resolve. "The darkness sought to divide us, but from the ashes rises a new era. Humanity returns, not as conquerors, but as partners. Together we will rebuild." Mira Voss smiled, relief washing over her features. "The Galactic Concord will stand united with Earth as a vital member." In the days that followed, treaties were forged, alliances renewed, and technologies shared. The galaxy's balance began to shift, not toward domination, but toward cooperation. On the Leviathan's bridge, Captain Solace looked out at the stars, the endless expanse that once seemed so hostile, now brimming with possibility. Her crew gathered around, weary but proud. "We've faced death and deception," Solace said softly, "and we survived. Humanity's story is just beginning." Lieutenant Corin grinned. "Guess they'll think twice before underestimating us again." Dr. Thorne added, "And we have much to learn and teach." As the warship set course for the reborn Sol system, a new chapter awaited, one where humanity and its allies would face challenges yet unknown. But together, the Phoenix had risen stronger, wiser, and ready to claim its place among the stars.